I should say, first of all, I have to sort of thank the AI chief of staff concept because in some ways it helped to build my brand on LinkedIn when I had no idea what the hell I was doing with a brand. Because now people actually email me or DM me with these links of AI chief of staff. And I have absolutely no qualms whatsoever explaining to anyone who has one that they are in fact completely wrong. And I do it in really the nicest way possible, by which I mean I hold nothing back. Because, oh my God, where do I even start? So I think that this started, I don't know, a year ago, maybe a little less, but everyone seems to have an AI chief of staff, except that is an oxymoron because you cannot have something that's AI and be a chief of staff. AI chiefs of staff read calendars and I read rooms and people and figure out where organizations are stuck. I'm sure you can plug in a bunch of baloney into AI and it'll shoot out a bunch of crap about maybe what's wrong. But again, the chief of staff in my mind is the omniscient narrator in the room. And AI cannot know what the hell everybody is thinking all the time at the same time. I do think, and let me just say this too, which is I am not under any delusion that AI is coming after a massive part of the chief of staff role. I get that. I'm actually quite comfortable with it. And you and I have had this conversation before. And we talked about it in a podcast that we did, which is there was a Japanese company that when they integrated AI into their business model, it wasn't how are we going to replace people? Their question was, how do we make people their best selves? How do we make sure that the people that we have are performing the absolute best that they can? And how can we use AI to support them? Which is the way you should think about this if you're not an idiot. But as we all know, there are lots of idiots in the world. However, Jensen Huang did this really interesting thing where he said, the US is mostly terrified of AI, and the Chinese are mostly thrilled with AI. To which I wanted to say to him, well, yes, because their governments are slightly different. One believes in freedom of thought and freedom of all sorts of things, and the other government really has no interest in that. So AI is seen as an opportunity to be free or to delve into things deeply, whatever. But here's my problem, which is the chief of staff plays the most important function in an organization. Well, it's not the most important, that's the CEO, but the most unique value in that they oversee the entire organization. They see what's happening on the staff level. They see what's happening in the C-suite. They see what's happening with the CEO, and they're responsible for making sure that that's all aligned and moving forward. An AI tool, while fabulous, I mean, it has absolutely changed my life. It has allowed us to build our business. It's done all the things. And I am delighted by it pretty regularly, although I yell at Claude every once in a while. But that is not a tool that can read people, personalities, understand power dynamics, figure out where people are cross-talking in cross-purpose. There is nothing about an AI tool that can really resemble a chief of staff for now.